Gentlemen, in this video, we're going to talk about the raw reality of hitting 10K per month or more online. And I hit 15K per month online at 22 years old. I'm now 23 and I make anywhere from 20 to 30K per month online. And if I'm being honest with you guys, my life looks nothing like these gurus flex and post about on social media. And it seems like in this day and age that all these gurus want to do is just make it seem like making money online is super, super fun, super, super exciting. And I'm here to tell you right now that that is not the case. Now, I don't want to deter you from trying to make money online because you still absolutely should do it, especially if you want financial, time, location freedom. You want to be able to start a family for yourself down the line or provide for your current family or whatever the case for you. But while these gurus flex their cars and their watches and their lifestyle on social media saying that it's super, super easy, what they don't tell you is the real work that's required to get to that point. And if you want this to work, you deserve to understand what it's actually going to look like and what the expectations you should set for yourself so that when you try to go down this journey of making money online, you know what you're prepared for. You see, my biggest grievance in the online space right now with all these gurus is they come from a position of where they're currently at and not what got them to where they're at. So you have a guru on the internet talking about that he makes 30K per month and he only works 4 hours a day. But what he doesn't show you is the amount of work required to get to that point. He doesn't show you the days where he was making 5K per month or 10K per month working 10 to 12 hours per day because he wants to sell you a course or a coaching program. And I don't have anything inherently wrong with selling courses and coaching programs. I just think that you need to set the right expectation to these people. It's why a lot of people think that courses and coaching programs are scams because they've been sold this false promise that they're going to hit 10K per month in their first month and it's only going to require a couple hours of work every single day. And so if I'm being honest with you guys, when I first hit my first $5,000 a month at the age of 19, I was full-time in college and I was also working part-time as a lifeguard. And my days of hitting 5K per month were absolutely boring. You see, I had all these other commitments and I was trying to make money online for myself. And so I did not have this life where I was driving a bunch of super fast cars and buying all these watches and having all this time freedom and only working a couple hours every day. That was absolutely not the case. In fact, I was working my ass off. And there's a really good chance for you watching this video right now, you're either in college or you're in university or you're working some part-time job or maybe you're in the trades or maybe you're getting into an entry-level job or something like that. You're going to need to find a way to make money online in addition to that. And I'm telling you right now, it's definitely possible, but it's very tricky. Now, there's no excuses to be made, obviously. Like I was able to do it while being full-time in college and working a job, but I'm just trying to set the right precedent that it's not going to be easy. In fact, I was working anywhere from 12 to 14 hours a day with doing college classes, working as a lifeguard, trying to make money online and hitting my first 5K per month at the same time. And it was a grind. I wasn't partying. I wasn't drinking. I wasn't smoking. I wasn't doing all this stupid shit. I was locked the fuck in. And this is not attractive advice, but this is the reality. And I'm here to give you guys the truth about the make money online space. So people always show like their dream life and where they want to get to in this attractive life on social media, but they rarely show the grind behind it. I'm sure you kind of see that at this point. But another thing that I really want to talk about to you guys is the uncomfortable decisions that I had to make on my journey. You see, I invested $3,000 into my first mentor when I was only making a little bit of money as a lifeguard, and I only had probably $5,000 or $6,000 if I had to guess to my name. And so like this was a really uncomfortable decision for me. And if I'm being honest, it hurt me a lot and it put me into a lot of pain. And additionally too, my parents were able to see like my bank account and everything like that. And they saw this too. And they were always questioning me. They're like, what are you doing? Why are you trying to do this? Because obviously they're good parents. They were skeptical of me. On top of that too, once I started making 5K per month, I actually had to have the conversation with my parents about dropping out of college because I really wanted to pursue this. And they were very, very skeptical of that too. And so nobody talks about these things. They only talk about the lifestyle and the flashy stuff. But the reality is you're going to have a lot of uncomfortable decisions that you're going to have to make on your journey, whether it's you having to fork over money into investing into a mentorship so that you can get the skills so that you can start making money online, or you having to talk to your parents about something, or you having to have conversations maybe with like a girlfriend or a wife about you doing this and you having to spend more time doing this and maybe spending less time with them or something in that like in that regard. And so my parents were obviously very skeptical of me trying to make money online. They thought it was a scam because, you know, a lot of these parents don't really understand the make money online space. But I had to put my foot down and I had to tell them, like, this is what I wanted for my life. I didn't want to work some average corporate 9 to 5 job where you have to put on this fake persona and like pretend like that you like your coworkers and like suck up to your boss every day and ask him for time off and just stuff like that. I just literally, it was the most annoying thing that I could ever imagine doing. And so I literally had to put my foot down and say, like, this is what I want for my life. I know you're my parents. I know you love me. I know you want what's best for me, but ultimately I am going to do what I essentially want to do. I'm now an adult. And so, like, you got to understand, a lot of people don't understand this internet money stuff. They think it's all a scam. And so if you want to go down this path, you're going to get doubt from friends, from family, from people that you're trying to go down this journey with, unless you have like a really solid group around you that is also trying to make money online. Then you might not have to encounter this as much. But another thing that I wanted to talk about, and I got some notes here, that's why I'm looking over to the side, but it's the mental game around trying to make money online. You see, before I really found my breakthrough where I even started making my first 5K per month, that went on to me making my first 15K per month just a couple months later, I jumped from business model to business model to business model to business model, like a lot of you guys either probably did or are in the process of doing right now. And so at a certain point, I had to put my foot down and just commit to one business model. Now, I came to a dark realization, which I've talked a lot about on this channel, that the best business model on the planet is eventually doing high ticket sales and building up high income skill sets for yourself. But like, there were a bunch of business models like dropshipping, like affiliate marketing, like trading, like trying to build my own like clothing brand or e-commerce store or something in that regard before I ended up finding my breakthrough. And you eventually have to get to a point where you're just going to commit to one business model. And I literally, I vividly remember writing a vow to myself after failing and not making much substantial progress in these four business models. I was like, I'm going to commit to doing high ticket sales for at least 1 year before I end up giving up or ending up moving on to the next business model. I was like, I'm either going to make it work or I'm going to give it an entire year. If I don't make it work after the entire year, I'll say, okay, I'll roll with the punches and I'll say I give it a fair shot. And this is what you need to do. You see, jumping from business model to business model is not where you want to be because every time you start to build up a little bit of progress in one business model, then you're having to reset it every time you move on to the next business model because a lot of the skills that you develop in one business model aren't going to be applicable in the others unless you're doing something like sales, which is why I think it's the best thing. Another thing is when I did get started in sales, I was selling coaching, mentorships, and info products over the phone for another business on Zoom calls with people that were 40, 50 years old. And so there was a lot of imposter syndrome with that. And it wasn't even self-inflicted. I literally had some people at times that were in their mid 40s like tell me, why would I take advice from you? You're 18, you're 19 years old. Why would I listen to you? Why are you trying to coach me? And it's like, you eventually have to get to a certain point where you take some of these things that are causing you to have setbacks. Like for me, this was almost a setback. I had to start to flip it in my mind about how I can actually use this to my advantage. It's like if you're selling to older people, you can talk about the fact that young people are way more hip to social media and they're way more knowledgeable and they're quicker learners than these people. We have higher brain elasticity. So it's like use some of that stuff to your advantage. Use your downfalls or your things that aren't good about yourself. Use that to your advantage. I had to lean into me being young as an advantage, and I actually used it to my advantage, and it worked really well for me when I started using it to my advantage. Now, another thing that I wanted to cover in this video is the truth about why most people fail. And a lot of people claim that they want to make money online. They want financial freedom. They want time freedom. They want location freedom. They want to be able to give money back to their parents, or they want to be at a financial spot where they can have a wife and she can be a stay-at-home wife and you can provide for your kids and all that stuff. And I think that's great. I think it's fantastic. I think it's awesome. And I think more guys should strive to do it. But the reality is most people who claim that they want these things aren't willing to do the boring execution required to get to that point. And a lot of guys, what ends up happening is when they start a business model, they feel really, really good about it. And they feel really good, like they're making progress and they're learning new things. And it just feels good, right? But once it starts getting boring, that feeling of feeling good ends up drying up, and then they quit and move on to the next business model. And what you have to understand is In every business model that you ever try, most of these business models can work. Now, should you start all these business models as a beginner? Maybe not. I have arguments for why you should do high ticket sales as opposed to literally everything else on the planet. But nonetheless, every business model can work. And a lot of guys quit when it's not fun anymore. And if you have this mindset, you're never actually going to amount to anything in life. You think that professional athletes quit when it wasn't fun anymore, when their sport wasn't fun, when practicing every single day, night in, night out, wasn't fun? Like, no, they kept pushing through it. Some days felt fun, some days didn't, and they did the work anyways. This is what you need to understand. And so a lot of people quit when it gets a little bit boring. A lot of people also won't make uncomfortable decisions. Like for me, I had to spend $3,000 on a mentorship when I only had a couple $1,000s saved up. And it was a really uncomfortable decision because that was all the money that I had saved up throughout high school, working jobs, working part-time jobs. I was also using some of that money for college. It's like, that was a really uncomfortable decision, but I knew by me working with a mentor that I was going to take it so much more serious, and I was actually going to commit to myself of doing the work required to get to where I want to be. And so I joined that mentorship. The mentor, his name was Brad. He helped me speed up the process of me learning the ability of sales, which helped me out drastically. What I learned in like 3 months probably would have taken me like 3-4 years on my own. And then in addition to, like, when I spent the money, it was super uncomfortable. Like, I would go to sleep every night just like terrified because I was like really getting close to having $0 in my bank account. But I woke up every single day with that sense of urgency, with that sense of drive that's unmatched. And when you put your back against the wall like that, you literally have no choice other than to make yourself succeed. And when you have no other option but to succeed, you usually succeed. And this is really important for you guys to understand because a lot of people aren't willing to make the uncomfortable decisions. They claim that they want all these things, but they're not willing to act and operate like the type of person that will become that type of person. And so if you want to make 10K per month, if you want to make 20K per month, you need to start thinking from the lens of that type of person. Would a 10K per month business owner, would a 20K per month business owner value investing into themselves and their business? Would they worry and stress about $3,000? Probably not. And so as a byproduct, they would just do it. And yes, it would be uncomfortable. And yes, it would probably hurt a little bit. But you got to think from the lens of who you want to be, who you want to become, where you want to get to at the end of the day. So if you can't handle 1 to 2 months of work without guaranteed income because it's too boring, making money online isn't for you. If you claim that you want all these things, you want to make money online, but you're never willing to put yourself out of your comfort zone. You're never willing to invest into yourself when it feels scary. You're never willing to talk to your parents about dropping out of college and just going all in at a certain point and committing to yourself. If you're a little bitch like that, and excuse my language, but that's the reality, you're just a little bitch. If that's you, you're not going to succeed with making money online. I'm here to tell you this firsthand because I almost gave up so many times. I was so close to quitting so many times after having all of this stuff. So I understand that if you're not willing to make decisions like this, and if you're not willing to operate like this type of person, you're not going to succeed. You're just not going to. If you won't make uncomfortable decisions, if you're not willing to work 10 to 12 hours a day and have a boring lifestyle, if you're not willing to work a couple months without guaranteed income, you're just a bitch and you're not going to make it. And some guy out there is willing to do those things, and he is going to take all of the money that you could have made, all the life that you could have had, all the financial freedom, the time freedom, location freedom. He's going to get it instead of you, all because he decided to stop being a little pussy. And I hate to end it on a cold note like this, but this is just the reality. Now, if you understand that working with a mentor and making money online is something that you could do, and if you want to work with me as your mentor, awesome. I'd be happy to help you. If you want to go work with somebody else, go do it. But by all means, if you're serious about making money online and you think that I'd be a good mentor for you because I'm going to keep it real and I'm going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear like some little baby, what you can do is you can book a call using the link in the description because I know what it takes to get to 10K per month online. And if you want to get there yourself, I'll tell you what it takes. I'll be able to show up every single day and show you what it's going to take to get there. And I'll be able to hold your hand through the whole process. But just please do not, like, I can't emphasize this enough. Please do not even consider working with me if you're just going to be a little bitch. If you're not going to be fully serious about this, this isn't for you. And I reject people all the time for this because they're not serious. They're not committed. They're not willing to show up every single day. They're not willing to make uncomfortable decisions. And if you're not willing to do that, then just have fun staying broke. So if you're interested in having me as your one-on-one mentor, you can book a call using the link in the description. But hopefully you guys got some value out of this video. Comment down below if you learned anything new. And if you like this type of content where I just keep it real and I just keep it honest and I just keep it unfiltered and I throw an occasional swear word just to emphasize how important this really is, comment down below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.